which I'm pleased to begin with the House Majority Leader Steve Scalise, Congressman extraordinaire from Louisiana. Leader, good to see you. How are you doing?
Doing great, Hugh. Thanks for having me. Good to see you again.
Good to see you. I've got to begin with a question before we get to the shutdown about Jay Jones. Now, I'm a Virginian. I'm going to vote against him. I'm going to vote for Attorney General Mayares. But I got to ask you, you are the most prominent living victim of political violence since Charlie is dead. What do you think about this guy, Jay Jones, who wanted his opponents killed and murdered and his children not alive? What should he drop out?
It's disturbing what he said. I mean, frankly, the things that he talked about, not one but two bullets to the head of his opponent. I mean, it's disqualifying you, and I hope voters look at that and say, if you don't like the tone of violence, political violence, you cannot elect this guy. He's an embarrassment, and he's still running. And you see Democrats scrambling to try to make excuses for him. But is this really the best that Virginia can do? Clearly not. We've got to do better and stop this kind of radical talk of encouraging and advocating for the assassination of your political opponent after Charlie Kirk, especially, but even before it. There's no place for it.
Now, Leader, you know Abigail Spanberger. She's a lefty, but she's not insane like this guy. Jay Jones is really disturbed. And you know all the other members of the Virginia delegation, Republican and Democrat. Have any Democrat from Virginia stepped up, to your knowledge, to say Jay Jones has got to get out of the race?
Not one. And you would know about it if they did. They're all either in hiding, like what you saw with Mad Monty in New York. I mean, either in hiding or endorsing him. And which says you're okay with it. And nobody should be okay with that.
I'm glad to hear that. And I hope somebody does get some courage. I have, for example, said New Yorkers ought to vote for Andrew Cuomo, though he's terrible, because he's not an anti-Semitic communist like Mamdani. Mr. Leader, let's turn to the House. I saw the tape of Leader Jeffries get into it with Mike Lawler. Good for Mike Lawler. He wins on points, not a knockout. How much of that is just Hakeem Jeffries not being up to this job?
Yeah, and look, you hear a lot of that on the Democrat side. Lawler's a scrappy guy, and he just showed up and said, "Look, Hakeem, why are you keeping the government shut down?" And frankly, the Democrats can't articulate a position. You go back to Chuck Schumer's alternative bill, and Schumer literally had the far left, the nuttiest far left elements of his base write their alternative of why they shut the government down. It was $1.5 trillion in new spending, including $200 billion for illegals to get health care. That's in their bill. They've got their fake fact checkers and all the far left networks trying to fact check it. I can show you in Chuck Schumer's bill where he takes away our verifications that illegals shouldn't be able to get your taxpayer funded health care. Schumer repeals that, in addition to $1.5 trillion in new unpaid for spending as his ransom to open up the government and pay our troops. This is who the Democrat Party is right now. Hakeem, Schumer, the whole bunch of them. 99% of Democrats in the House and Senate voted to shut the government down, and we're there right now. And what are they going to tell our military men and women? Some who are overseas defending our freedom, and their families are here, and they're about to miss a paycheck. Their house notes are still going to be due. Their car notes are still going to be due, and they're shutting it down. They can't even articulate a reason just because Schumer is afraid of the far left and is afraid of AOC beating him in a Democrat primary. He should be less concerned about his political job and more concerned about the jobs of millions of American families.
Leader, I'm a civilian, and so I don't speak with authority, but I got a lot of members of my family who are in the military on active duty, including some who are in positions of authority in the officers' corps. And they tell me about these young E1s and E2s, 18, 19, 20 years old. They're making $2,300 a month, and some of them are married and some of them have kids. They can't afford to miss a paycheck. What are the Democrats thinking?
They're not. They're just scared to death of the radical far left Marxists and socialists in their party that are still angry that Donald Trump got elected president. And they're still not over that election. And you can see it in everything they're doing. They fought us when we said, let's secure the border. They said no. We brought the bill, of course, to say, how about we prevent anybody from having a tax increase in America? Every Democrat voted no. We said, how about we modernize our air traffic control system? Every Democrat voted no. Their answer to everything is just to say no to Donald Trump because he wants it. And the American people are fed up with that. They want a healthy economy. They want lower tax rates. They want Washington getting control over spending and securing our border, not giving hundreds of billions of dollars in tax benefits to illegals. That's where the Democrats are right now. They're a lost party.
Now, Leader Scalise, I have been confirming with all the leadership, Leader Thune, Chairman of Senate Appropriations, Susan Collins, Speaker Johnson, you, and now I'm going to get Tom Cole on as well, who's Chairman of Appropriations. I talked to Ken Calvert about Defense Subcommittee. The appropriations process is actually working for the first time in a long time. Do you concur in that assessment? It's actually working?
Absolutely. You know, and we passed all 12 bills. Tom Cole did a yeoman's job with his committee members, getting all 12 appropriations bills that fund various parts of the federal government out of committee. John Thune, to his credit, said he was going to reverse course from what Schumer did. Schumer never brought an appropriations bill to the floor the last few years. So Thune started bringing those bills to the floor. We're actually in a conference committee right now on 3 of those bills, and none of that's going on right now because Schumer shut the government down. They want dysfunction. The Democrats just want to see everything collapse because they hate Donald Trump. It's an embarrassment that this is a major national party in America, and this is all they have. They have no ideas. Their ideas were rejected by the voters, and yet they still won't let it go.
Well, they're trying to, the only thing I can rationalize, they're trying to set up a negotiation before they'll reopen the government, and they'll say we open in order to get X, Y, and Z. If that happens, have we got a wish list too, like permit reform? Aren't there a lot of things we want done that they won't do?
Yeah, and you know, luckily we've been able to do a lot of it on our own, even with a very small majority in the House and in the Senate. We've been able to pass our agenda. In most cases, with 0 Democrat votes, we're moving that agenda. But to do things like permit reform, you need 60 votes in the Senate. And I'm looking for 7 takers on the Democrat side. Everybody in America knows we need it. And yet the Democrat Party's beholden to the radicals on the far left on climate change and, you know, all the other things. They want to block any kind of construction, roads, bridges, oil and gas development, keeping energy prices low. They're against all of that. And again, you go see where the American people are on it. They made their voices heard loud and clear in November.
Let me play for you a quick clip of former Speaker Pelosi on with Dana Bash today, cut number 8.
I mean, I understand what you're saying about where the differences are, and they are very big. They are voting yes on what we say here in Washington, a clean CR, a bill to keep the government running for 7 weeks, and Democrats are voting no, and for the reasons you just said. So how are they shutting down the government?
First of all, it isn't a clean CR.
Okay.
So let's not stipulate to that. It's not a clean CR.
What do they have in it?
Going into that. The point is.
Then she froze. So first question, Mr. Leader, is it a clean CR?
Of course it is. And credit to Dana Bash. Of all places, CNN actually got it right and pointed out to Pelosi, you voted against a clean CR, and she couldn't even respond to it. She froze up because there's no response. They're trying to lie to the American people, and gee whiz, don't worry, health illegals aren't getting health care. Yes, they are in Chuck Schumer's alternative bill. You know, they say, oh, it's not a clean CR. And yet Schumer and most Democrats voted yes on these same funding levels in March. What changed between March and today? It's that the far left threatened a primary against Chuck Schumer with AOC. And frankly, even with this shutdown, AOC would still beat Schumer. So stop worrying about your political future. Worry about what's right for the country and open up the government again with the clean CR that's over in the Senate. The good news is even with Nancy Pelosi voting no, all you need is 5 more senators voting yes, and the bill passes. And we've only got till November 21st to negotiate our differences. And they are large, wide chasms of differences on properly funding the government, but let's at least get back to those negotiations.
Well, thank you, Mr. Leader, because I know it's got to be fatiguing to keep doing the same interview over and over again with different talking heads, but I appreciate the effort that you and the speaker
and But it's better when it's with you.
Well, thank you.
I don't get to talk to you enough, so it's good talking to you.
Thank you, Mr. Leader. Talk to you soon. Don't